to just share with you from my own personal parent story, just as a mother, not as a national advocate, just so that, can relate to me as a parent. And some of you know me already, so hopefully I won't bore you, but I see that many of you have never been here before, so you haven't heard my story. But I did want to tell you that I am a mom, a mother of 3 children, and I became initially involved as a parent when my youngest son was 10 months old. I noticed, well, actually, it just shows again the first lesson as far as parents, you need to have confidence in your observations of your children. And he had gone to all his pediatric visits. He was a healthy child, born healthy birth, healthy. And as a mom, I noticed something with his eyes that seemed a little odd to me. When the light would hit his eye, a glare, a cat's eye reflection would come back. And so I just kept noticing it, and so as a mom, I brought it to the pediatrician's attention. And he said, yes, there is something not normal here. He didn't, he was perplexed. He didn't know what it was, but he did refer us to, at least he listened to me as a parent. Sometimes they don't listen to the parents, and referred us to ophthalmologist. Turns out he was, went to the eye doctor, didn't go into anesthesia or anything, but just in the regular examining room, they dilated the eyes, and the doctor saw what he thought. He'd only seen it in medical books, was a tumor. It was a large tumor in his right eye, had involved in his right eye. And so what I was seeing was, and the tumor's white, so I was seeing the reflection of the tumor. It's a malignant eye cancer, and so it starts in the retina, as cancer cells, and if it goes undetected, it fills the orbit of the eye and destroys the eye, and it's 100% malignant. If it goes out the optic nerve, it can kill the child. So we were living in rural New Hampshire, and up in our state, if something's unusual, they send you to Boston. So we went to Mass Sinaier. And came to Mass Sinaier, and we have a wonderful doctor, David Walton, and he had, we are fortunate, thank goodness to be in this area. We have some of the best medicine and medical research here in Boston. We're very, very fortunate. And the condition that my son has is only 300 cases per year in the U.S. Dr. Walton confirmed that it was just a matter of a few weeks, and I could have found him dead in the crib, if I hadn't brought it to the doctor's attention. So this is the first thing about follow your instinct about your child medically and educationally. It's important. I mean, you are the one that's with your child and know your child. Professionals will come in and out of your child's life, and they might be fantastic professionals, but your observations of your child are extremely important. This, of course, is a dramatic example, but it was the beginning. So I started out just as a desperate mom looking for emotional support and wanting to understand, what my son had medically, and I wanted to connect with other families. He had one eye removed immediately, and then his remaining eye had 5 years of cancer treatment at Mass Sinaier, and he had to go under anesthesia, and they treated the cancer. And it was there in the waiting room of Mass Sinaier that I met a mom of a deaf-blind child. And I was like, here I was like devastated about my son's visual impairment, and it just blew me away. I was like, oh my gosh, her child's not only blind, but he's hearing impaired. I just couldn't, so I said to her, because the moms, they talk in the waiting room and the dads, and while we wait, and she said that, I said, well, how do you cope? And she said, there were 2 things she said to me. She said, other parents, experienced parents that have been through this have been some of my best supports. And then she also introduced me to Perkins School for the Blind. She said how important it was for specialized services, the professionals who really know the unique needs and trained in teaching and working with kids with visual impairment or deaf blindness. So that was the beginning, and that's how I got connected. Turns out that she's the one who also introduced me to NAPFI, and there was going to be a conference coming up, a national convention. And so I didn't have any money. Well, we had health insurance problems. The same day that my son was diagnosed, the insurance company said he wasn't covered for his cancer treatment. So, I have a family construction business and 3 children, and it wasn't like I really had the money to go to a conference, and it was through Perkins. Tom Miller's program co-sponsored. Actually, Helene Powers and I went, and they sponsored our room at the hotel. And then I got sponsorship from a local Lions Club for air flight out to the conference. And as long as I promised when I came back I'd give a presentation. So I said, okay, talk about what I learned.